Okay, so I've never watched this guy before. All I know is he makes some like gaming videos. And with Assassin's Creed coming out, I've decided to give this one a watch. I played Assassin's Creed a ton back in the day. I spent I would spend hours poring over the IGN guides because I could not figure out how to do some of this stuff. I'm I prefer games for the story, not because I'm like actually good at them. So let's see what this guy has to say, because apparently he thinks Assassin's Creed 4 ruined the franchise. And I mean, personally I liked Origins, but after that it was definitely downhill.
Warning, this video contains spoilers. When I was a kid, I loved the Ezio trilogy. Never got...
Yeah, the Ezio trilogy is my favorite too. Assassin's Creed 2 is still my favorite, though I would say objectively Assassin's Creed Brotherhood is the best of the three.
Playing Revelations, perhaps due to my distaste for endings because they cause sad emotions. And sad emotions were something I had to leave at the door upon joining the Sigma male support group. Regardless.
I gave that a try. Didn't quite work out for me, and now I'm here.
I always said that Brotherhood was my favorite Assassin's Creed title, but after finally
like I said,
getting around to playing Black Flag this month after years of neglect, I say with great remorse that Brotherhood is no longer the best in my eyes. I'm sorry, bro.
I hate it when that happens.
Assassin's Creed Black Flag...
Damn it! Todd Howard tricked me into playing Skyrim again.
...is a yard-hard shiver-me-tea simulator that provides lethal doses of dopamine and nostalgia, 10 chain-killed enemies at a time.
I remember when I went to GameStop to buy Assassin's Creed 4, I was fairly new to the Assassin's Creed series, so I was just kind of marathoning my way through all the games. And the way the GameStop employee explained it to me was, it isn't the best Assassin's Creed game. It is the best pirate game, and it happens to be an Assassin's Creed game as well. And I'll be honest, it's been years since I've played it, so maybe my opinion has changed, but back then I definitely agreed with him.
This game is pure fun at the expense of any challenge at all. Combat is simply a matter of Y, X, 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 Y, X, X, and yet the whole campaign goes by faster than just 5 hours of Odyssey or Origins.
I mean, that's most of the Assassin's Creed games. If you master countering, combat in that game becomes stupid simple.
Naval combat that perfectly captures both moments of intense battle and moments of calm commute between one destination and another. They did it so good, in fact, that after the developers saw people enjoyed the boats that much, they decided to turn the whole goddamn franchise into an open-world RPG. And no, that's not a joke. That's literally the reason they gave in an interview for why they massacred my boy. What the?
Oh, that's why they went that direction. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody agrees that the ship combat in Assassin's Creed 4 was an amazing feature. But making the game as open world as it was in the later games was kind of I think it was kind of a mistake in retrospect. All the Assassin's Creed games had an element of open world to them, but it was much more restricted. If you weren't actively in a location, you didn't really have a reason to visit anywhere else. And actually, now that I think about it, the early games prior to 4 weren't that open world. In 1 and 2, you had specific cities you could travel to, but there was minimal areas outside of the city. Brotherhood and Revelations are both in a single city, Rome and Constantinople. No, I will not be calling it Istanbul. Don't at me. And 3 takes place mostly in New York, Boston, that area. Basically New England. Yeah, you have the frontier, but does anybody actually do anything in the frontier if the plot doesn't demand it? Yeah, like I said, I did like Origins, but but it was definitely starting to go downhill with that one. I still never figured out why they had Bahamut in that game.
As Ed, with no Ed or Eddie, as they probably died because killing everything you love is something this game's story really enjoys doing. Ed couldn't care less about the Creed either. He's all about that booty, and that booty, you feel? In fact, you can actually kill assassins for the Templars in one mission, which is kind of straight bussin' on job for real. But I'll be honest with you.
Just a second while I vomit. Ugh. Zoomer slaying. My one weakness. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they released Assassin's Creed Rogue around the same time, if not simultaneously. And that was a pretty fun game, and you could kill assassins in that. And to be fair, Edward does eventually come around once he realizes he's being kind of a greedy asshole and pushing everybody away. It be like that sometimes.
Here, I couldn't care less about the story in these games. Assassin's Creed to me is synonymous with power fantasy and god complex. For all I care, as long as it has this style of combat, you could have George Washington storming Normandy with an M4 to repel the alien takeover of the Nile River, and I would still love it. Which is why I happen to believe
I would totally play that game, by the ways. I would unironically play a game where you are playing as George Washington at Normandy fighting aliens, and I would love every moment of it. I don't care how awful it is. That would be the best game ever.
That Mad Max or Mafia 3 are closer to being Assassin's Creed games than Origins, Odyssey, or Valhalla. And if it wasn't already abundantly apparent, I despise the new games with every fiber of my being. Not only because they're open world.
Okay, so you have taste. Understandable. Though, to be fair, I haven't played Valhalla or Shadows. Maybe I should give them a try just so I can have like an actual opinion and not just regurgitate what other people say. But on the other hand, I don't want to give Ubisoft money.
World RPGs that take 3 millenniums of boring ass.
Well, more money than I already have.
Gameplay to beat, but also because these are the 3 most money-making games in the franchise, and if I had to read one more Reddit post saying if it made that much money, it can't be bad, I was going to morb all over the goddamn.
No, that just means the marketing was good. You convinced me that this is worth the gamble of giving you my money and hoping that it is good and entertaining. When you buy something like a game or any other form of entertainment, there's no guarantee you are going to like it. You're essentially gambling that the enjoyment value you get from it will be commensurate with how much you have to spend on it. You know, that's why there are some really awful, like, 99-cent games on the Play Store that people love because they didn't have to spend that much money on it. It cost them 99 cents, and they got at least 99 cents of enjoyment out of it.
Damn place. And I was gonna do a whole rant here about why money alone isn't a good indicator of a product's quality, but I think I've actually got it down to about 4 words: Fast and the Furious. So throughout this interview, as I praise Black Flag, I will continue slandering the reboot titles, and I'm not gonna make that argument of the reboot titles being good games but not good Assassin's Creed games. No. I'm here to make the argument of shit games and even shittier Assassin's Creed games with as much bias and anecdotal evidence that I can get my grubby little hands on, because
Well, that's the best evidence. I mean, who needs to be, objective and unbiased when you could be the exact opposite of that?
I'm here to entertain and yell uncontested opinions at unsuspecting citizens. Let's kick this off by talking about the prologue. Don't worry, unlike Ubisoft, I'll make this quick. If there is a hell, it would be playing the first hour of every Assassin's Creed game on loop, never being permitted to progress any further. The prologue of every Assassin's Creed game has 3 things: an unskippable tutorial for every single basic mechanic in the game.
If you saw my first AC3 stream, it took me a good 4 or 5 minutes just to figure out how to jump from one ledge to another. Partially because I was playing on keyboard and I'm used to playing on controller.
escort, follow, and trailing missions, and a preview of a funny few glitches just so you know the greatness that is to come. Listen, I love these games once they actually let you get into them, but whenever I think about starting up a new playthrough of any Assassin's Creed game, I almost always decide not to, just at the mere thought of suffering through the first hour. Black Flag's prologue is a little better as far as Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I would argue that after your first playthrough, you should have the option of skipping the tutorial. Like, you've already seen the cutscenes, you know the plot relevance. Let's just get to the actual fun part.
Prologues go, especially in comparison to the goddamn
4-hour
long prologue of Assassin's Creed 3 or the MLG Pro canon sequence of Brotherhood, but it's still very important
Okay, the
to
cans
bear
were fun.
in mind that it's still an Assassin's Creed prologue, therefore it belongs in the hell tier. Moving on, let's talk about what makes
Fair.
these games amazing. What makes these games Assassin's Creed? The combat. The combat is the whole reason I'm here. The only reason I exist. Without this combat, I perish. Black Flag's combat is best described as God complex-like. Chain 2 takedowns together, now 5, now 10, now the entire town square. But what I love about Black Flag's combat is not the fighting itself. I mean, let's be honest, the combat's about 2 buttons deep. You could hand a controller to a small...
Like I said, counter and then stab. I love these games, but they definitely don't put a whole lot of thought into the combat of them.
toddler or a competent middle-aged dog and they could beat this game. No, what's great about Black Flag's gameplay is the takedowns. Takedowns are the brutal deconstruction of the enemy in a preset animation that makes my monkey brain very happy. And of all the
Stabby, stabby, make brain, make happy juice.
Assassin's Creed games, I firmly believe that Black Flags ooze the most with personality and a certain spectacle that makes them better than any other in the franchise.
I mean, it helps that Edward Kenway is, without a doubt, the most charming of all the protagonists. His grandson definitely did not get that from him.
Tell you what, though, Brotherhood beats out Black Flag on counter grabs because, I mean, look at this Jedi shit. And in Unity, the enemies can just take down themselves. I love takedowns so much that they show...
Man, the French went beyond surrendering and just started offing themselves.
Just 2 of them in the trailer for Watch Dogs Legion, and it got me to buy that shit on day 1. Takedowns are right next to leaning in terms of features that will get me to immediately buy a game on day 1 for whatever price you tell me. Because when you add these to a game, it just makes it feel as if you're playing a perfectly choreographed fight scene from a movie. Better yet, this feels like a WWE match. I tell you, Alex, this is quite the show.
Actually, an Assassin's Creed game where you play as a pro wrestler would probably be pretty fun. The stealth mechanics would be non-existent, but it would be fun.
Today here by Edward. Let's get your thoughts on this.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jerry. This reminds me a lot of your mum's bedroom.
Wait, what? That's not the
20 men enter, only 1 man leaves.
Hey, man, that's...
Whoa, look at that from the top turnbuckle.
Dude, there's no turn, but where are you seeing the turn?
He's pulling out the gun. He's pulling out the gun.
Now, I tell you, that is just unfortunate, folks. Not at all a part of the show, but these are the risks that we take for you folks at home. Now let's talk about firearms. Assassin's Creed has had villains in previous titles, so the dev team really had to up the ante on this one, break the mold, shatter the glass, smack the child, so to speak. So what did they do? They did revolutionize the game by adding 2 guns instead of 1. Overwhelming, I know. But then they topped themselves once more in an Einstein level of genius, and I know what you're thinking. It doesn't get better than 2 pistols. It can't. Well, I have news for you, hater. They added 4 pistols. But boom, these innovations
It's like General Grievous, but with pistols.
are as mold-breaking and ground-shaking as giving you 2 swords, or 2 hidden blades, or too many trailing missions. Now, I will admit, combat is much more dumbed down in comparison.
Yeah, in retrospect, Assassin's Creed 4 did have a lot of trailing missions, even compared to the other AC games.
Comparison to the Brotherhood combat. To list a few noticeable changes, enemies now wind up their punches like they're Popeye, meaning that parry windows are essentially infinite so that you can walk away from your computer, come back, and still have time to parry. Blocking? Please, come on, don't be foolish. That's what the gun is for. They're also a fraction
No
of the
blocking,
enemy
only
weaponry,
stabbing.
and enemies don't feel as fast or aggressive either. But I believe that regardless of whether you believe that Black Flag's the best, or Brotherhood, or 3, or Unity, I think that we can all agree that this shit is awful. That's right, it's time to talk about the reboot combat, which I'll be using Odyssey specifically due to the fact that A, I own it, and B, it's all just about the goddamn same anyways. Odyssey.
Yeah, Black Flag started the trend that is my biggest complaint about the new games. It wasn't as bad in Black Flag, but I really don't like how they gave even less attention to the modern day storyline. Like, yes, the past was definitely the core of it. That was the primary story. But the meta narrative surrounding, the present day assassins and their war with the Templars, it really helped make it feel more alive, if that makes sense. And I really don't remember what they did with it in Odyssey, but in Origins, it was practically non-existent. At least in Black Flag, you did do something relevant with it.
Combat has this cool feature where you do no damage at all and are mashing every button 1,000 times in order to whittle down that health bar. You are in a constant race between beating a boss and unlocking the exotic trait called crippling carpal tunnel and arthritis of the hands. Each fight feels like you're chasing around spastic zoomers and trying to slice them down with a comically large spoon.
I hate when I have to do that.
For a drawn-out make-out match between you and your thick foes is not a cool takedown, but rather some ragdoll bodies and the relief that the fight is finally over so that you can go back to auto-running and play fucking Crash Royale. Shit, sometimes I die just so I can see the enemy do a takedown to remind me of the good old days. And
yeah, a hallmark of bad game design is when you're glad that part of the game is over. Good game design should make you glad that you have progressed, but you should have at least enjoyed it while you were doing it.
Before you go saying that it's a named character and this is how RPG should be, first, that's my point. No one asked for this. Second, let's compare this to a named character in Black.
Yeah, I mean, I love RPGs as much as anybody, but Assassin's Creed was better when it wasn't an RPG.
Black Flag.
I just want to run up to people and stab them. I don't want to have to worry about skill trees. I don't want to have to worry about the enemy's health bar either. I should be able to sneak up behind somebody, stab them in the neck, and they should just drop like a fly.
Fuck you. Black Flag's biggest weakness for me is the incredibly apparent lack of hammers. I mean, Brotherhood had hammer, round hammer, and biggest hammer. And oh boy, these babies were chunky.
To be fair, how prevalent were hammers in that environment? I mean, yeah, you would have smaller hammers designed for, like actual work, carpentry and the likes, but
the
not like Warhammers.
Blunt animations, the sound of their bones being turned into protein powder. I loved using the hammer. Black Flag has not one hammer, not even a tool hammer. Oh, okay, alright. All credit where credit's due, though. The axe did feel right. Definitely much better than the axe in Brotherhood. But still, in Black Flag 2, when we play as my man, Steve Bonet, come on, hook me up, Ubisoft. Wait, what? They killed him too? Ah, shit. Well,
oh yeah, Steve Bonet was actually a real person. If I recall correctly, he died a very horrible death out at sea after being betrayed by Blackbeard. I might be getting him mixed up with somebody else, so don't quote me on that.
Well, hey, that's unfortunate. Now let's talk about boats. We all know that Brotherhood has the
I like
superior
boats.
boating technology. Many people call the rowboat the Ford Focus of the ocean. Ask anyone, everyone says this. So now that we understand
It's true.
the supreme outlier above all else, let's talk about Black Flag ships. Boats in Black Flag managed to surprisingly be very fun. And I say surprisingly because Black Flag's map is actually larger and has way more water than Odyssey. So why is it that Odyssey
That's
makes
odd.
me want to take a toasty bubble bath, whereas Black Flag does not? Well, I'll tell you.
I might be getting ahead of myself, but it's probably just the difference between Greco-Roman naval combat and the Age of Sail. They were two completely different kinds of ships with two completely different philosophies. In ancient naval warfare, it was all about ramming your ship into them, boarding the other ship, and stabbing everybody to death. It was basically a land battle on water. As nautical technology progressed and ships were able to go further out at sea, eventually gunpowder was discovered, cannons were made. It became about staying as far away from the other person as humanly possible and shooting them.
Starting with the basics, people or crewmates can either be rescued or enslaved, acquired. And I prefer rescuing them because it's always nice to have that profuse gratitude upon rescuing them. You know, because it feels good to do good, you know? Especially as I shake their hands and look them dead in the eyes knowing damn well that they're gonna die to my friendly fire about 15 minutes from now. Anyways, Black Flag has some
If they didn't want me to shoot them, they should not have been there. They know company policy.
Great bangers built into its ye old radio called shanties. Black Flag shanties are here, and every other reboot game shanty is all the way down here. Listen,
Yep.
Randy Dandy-O has heart and spirit. Fish in the Sea has this jovial rhythm to it, and you can't help but get all kinds of hype to end 20 working man's lives.
Yeah, honestly, one of the best parts of Black Flag is just sailing the open sea on a clear night in game, and listening to the sea shanties. I know I can't focus on one thing to save my life, so when I'm playing games, if I'm not streaming, I usually have like two other screens up with something different on each, and I'm just looking at the game and listening to something else. But no, for this game, I would focus on the sea shanties.
Any shanty from the Sow Island just perfect. Drunken Sailor, although appreciated, is often quite underrated and talks of the best shanties in this game. It's not quite the best though, is it? Because you see, in '87, Pirates released this, the most accomplished album. I think their undisputed masterpiece is Leave Her Johnny, a song so catchy, most people
I love that
probably
one.
don't listen to the lyrics, but they should, because it's not just about the pleasures of sailing and the bittersweet feeling of ending a voyage. It's also a personal statement about the pirates themselves. Hey, Paul! What also makes Black Flag sailing so enjoyable is that I actually want to get into combat because of how fun it is to blast board and sink these ships. No cap bussin' for real, this is probably the best boat
When you guys play Black Flag, what do you prefer to do? Do you prefer to take the ship out from a distance using your cannons, or do you prefer to board and stab everybody in the face? For me, I could go either way depending on the day. Kind of like my roommate.
combat in any game ever. And please don't bring up that Sea of Thieves shit that requires friends, because we don't do that here. The reason why...
Who needs friends? I do. I'm very lonely.
naval combat feels so fantastic is because it takes every last feature it gives you and requires you use it for success in a duel with worthy enemies. And worthy enemies don't constitute as the small ships you can crush on your way to party. Every utility is situational and must be used at exactly the right time. Many people call it the Doom ripoff of the ocean. Fire barrels are often used when you completely forget that you have them, so you try to use them, and then you remember why you never used them. Heavy shot is like a shotgun for your ship, close range only, and only if your ship is level, because any other situation and these some bitches are shooting directly into the water. Round shot and swivel shot are the all-time any range.
Yeah, I would do that all the time. Back when I played this game, I didn't have quite the tactical mind I do now. Which hasn't really changed now that I think about it.
multi-tool slamma-jammas. These things get it done. Chain shot is for when you're ramming into a ship and say, might as well use this. And mortars are the most situational, as in, I use them in every situation. One word of warning is that if you have a little dinghy and you're trying to fight a higher level ship, you will do such little damage that you will begin forming giant clouds of CO2 emission around the enemy ship, and your precise shooting will turn into, I think we're shooting in the right direction. And I haven't even...
I mean, to be fair, that was most combat at that time. Even cannons were not hugely accurate. So you kind of just pointed at the enemy, lined your shot up as best you can, and hope it didn't just completely spin out of control. A major difference between field artillery, field cannons at the time, was you weren't aiming at a specific target. You would aim into a group of people, and it would definitely hit a few, but the real damage came when it hit the ground and started ricocheting and taking people's legs off. But that's more relevant to Assassin's Creed 3.
Even said anything about boarding ships yet. There are three predominant ways to take a ship. Option 1, you can take a few blind swivel shots, then swing on board and kill the rest. This is the real basic option right here. On a scale of Odyssey to Legendary, this is still a 7. I mean, it's a good time, but it's very basic.
It was definitely fun to do it that way.
That's where option 2 comes in. You kill everyone on the enemy ship with a swivel cannon using carefully placed, precise, delicate blasts, managing your ammo accordingly. This is for the evolved mammals. This is an 8 out of 10.
I don't think I ever did that.
The final option, and this is for the true red-blooded Floridians that are invading the Caribbean. First, incapacitate the ship, then swing around the front or back outside of the boarding zone, leave the helm of the ship, climb on the enemy boat, and kill everyone on board and complete any other objectives that specific ship calls for. Once that's done, now hop off the boat, son of a... Now
Oof.
hop off the boat, hop on your boat, and try to board the enemy boat through the prompt. Bam! Immediate take. Didn't have to do anything. Don't even have to go through any cringed loading screen.
I think I did that a
Hang
few
on, it is
times.
Right here. And if this multitude of options
I need to
for
play
taking
Black
a
Flag
ship doesn't
again.
get you rock hard, then you know what? Just leave the video. And now comparing this to Odyssey, you get spears, archers, and you can ram and spear enough, and you're fighting a boring battle on a basic ship, chipping away at enemies with no cool setting, no cool combat, and no cool takedowns. To their credit, though, they did add a pretty awesome flamethrower for boats in the DLC, and you can also knock anyone off
that's
the
cool.
boats, and they will be one shot by the sharks in the water. Which, I mean, let's not mince any words. That is pretty beautiful. But to
That's one way to
answer
assassinate
the
someone.
question of why I love Black Flag ships, while Odyssey ships makes me want to skydive without a parachute, it's because Odyssey is bad. And me no like. So now you know like, or pay for your sin. Black
Okay. Whatever you say, boss.
Flag Odyssey. Black Flag Odyssey. Do I really need to say anything else? Now let's talk about the assassin aspect of Black Flag. Don't worry, trailing missions are still very much a part of this game, but this time, hang on, get these up on the screen. They revolutionized them. Clearly, Black Flag trailing missions are superior to Brotherhood trailing missions, Origin trailing missions, Unity trailing.
I hated that one mission in Brotherhood where you had to get her out of the castle. That was such a pain in the ass.
Missions and Odyssey trailing missions, because now you can trail in first person and trail another boat in your boat for the first time ever in the history of gaming. Yeah. And
It just works.
these dumbasses never see it coming. And the AI is 16 times better than ever at doing these trailing missions. Take a look at
Not if
this.
you keep quiet and stay out of sight.
I believe I'm getting the hang of this.
Alright, no one fucking likes these. I'm only gonna try to defend these. I've never tried to play these games stealthily. The whole point of the Boomer titles was that you could be stealthy, or you could walk through the front door and just eradicate the entire population of the base in a huge battle.
So you could do it the way the game intended, or you could do it the way I always did it, which is the objectively correct way.
I always chose the latter because we ball. However, there were missions that didn't want me to satisfy my homicidal nature. No detection missions are the bane of my existence, and no detection, no killing missions were built specifically to tell me to go to hell. However, no killing missions such as this one right here that would prefer I don't kill members of the Creed are actually false advertisements, frauds, false bills of false goods. Because you see, it's not necessarily no killing. It's no conclusive murder that can be proven guilty in a conviction under the court of law. Accidents happen all the time. People trip and fall every day in the crocodile-infested waters, which then gets their other Creed member killed for rushing into the water, which then gets the person that shoots that gator killed because they killed my friend and turned him into a pair of fucking crocs.
Oh, I didn't know you could do it that way. Now I have a new strategy for my next playthrough.
Now, as far as actual assassination and side missions go, it's all about the gun, baby. I always prefer pulling a Lincoln over using the hidden blades because it's efficient, and it's also funny how mundane it makes the entire mission when you can just walk right up to the target and remove some memories. Now, it's about the extent of my stealth experience, so let's talk about side activity.
I personally prefer to use the hidden blades just because, you know, it's an Assassin's Creed game. I can kill people with guns anytime. When am I going to have the chance to stab somebody with wrist-mounted blades?
The
I won't.
assassin missions
That's
are just
why.
straight up volunteering for trailing missions. This is against every fiber of my being. I may be a touch masochistic. And listen, I enjoy the pain of lots of games. But volunteering for trailing missions is just sadistic. If you've completed any more than 10% of these, I'm worried about you. Assassination missions, as I've already mentioned, are fantastic.
Stop it. Get some help.
Walk in, shoot, leave. At 50% completion of all missions, you get this traditional-looking homeless assassin trip, and at
Ooh, that's
100%,
cool.
you get the pistol swords. Let me tell you about these pistol swords. They're a gimmick, like the foot.
Oh, cool. So you can play Final Fantasy in your Assassin's Creed.
Phone. You seldom get a unique animation from them, and you can't even aim them. Not worth the time at all. With that being said, though, if I have the pistol swords and you don't, then you are inferior to me in every way possible. Forts are incredibly easy thanks to the round shot, heat-seeking predator swivel shot, and 62 smoothbore. On the other hand, legendary ship mission.
Yeah, with smoothbore, you aim for the guy right in front of you, and you hit the guy 10 feet to his left.
Sorry. Well, I only have this footage right here. After going to fight him very underleveled to get a measly 20,000 gold and getting pulverized, I manned up and never showed my face at any legendary ship event ever again.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
Hunting is a next level.
Those legendary ships, I never took them down. I would just stumble on them by accident, and I would desperately run away as fast as I could. One time, I did try to take one down, but instead of engaging in ship to ship, I stopped my ship at a little bit outside of their detection radius, and I swam to it, and I tried to climb onto it. They saw me and fired their broadsides at me. It did not end well.
You can air assassinate an iguana, and everything else on land is to be shot with
As you
ye
should.
old firearms. Whereas anything in the water is the harpooning side activity. But listen, if I'm being real honest with you, my favorite type of hunting is hunting for good prices over at my local Cabela's so that I can just buy the goddamn skins and autocraft all of it. Because who has the time to do that bullshit? I guess Fleets is also a side activity, kinda. It was a mobile game, and then they merged it into the main PC game. Okay, fine. I'll keep...
I think by the time I got Assassin's Creed 4, that wasn't a thing anymore. I also didn't look into it that much.
Keep it a buck with you, Chief. I have no idea how this works, really. Because Ubisoft Connect won't let Black Flag connect to the internet, can't actually use this feature. And in fact, this footage isn't even mine. I got this footage from my boy... So finally, the Mayan puzzles that unlock Mayan gizmos. The only puzzle games I can do are puzzle games made by Ubisoft employees. But if it's so easy, why even do this trivial activity, you ask? Because it unlocks the drippiest drip in the game, that's why. That beautiful Mayan armor, which not only allows you to pull up an invisible hood in cutscenes, but also allows you to be invincible to
Oh
all
yeah,
bullets.
that armor.
Before, I had to rely on the AI shooting their own teammate in the head, but now, I truly am the god. Or Oh,
Honestly, relying on an Ubisoft glitch is probably going to be more reliable than the intentionally invulnerable armor.
yeah, and then there are all the collectibles that don't fucking matter. Glitches are the cornerstone of any Assassin's Creed game, so popular that they decided to dial them up to an 11 just for the launch of Unity. And my first 15...
Yeah, Ubisoft. Yeah, they have some nasty glitches. Like, it kind of makes me think of Bethesda and Fallout. Like, they have their glitches, but it has a bit of charm to it somehow. In Ubisoft, it's like, no, this is just terrifying.
minutes of Black Flag, I ran into a game-breaking bug that forced me to restart the mission so that I could actually progress further. In my first 30 minutes of Unity, I saw people walking in the sky. And in my first 20 minutes of Brotherhood, I saw an enemy hardcore parkour into space with one giant leap. This is tradition. Things like bouncing bodies, enemies clipping into random objects. Oh, look, that's a twofer. Ships rising from the water, or brutes stuck in an endless loop of throwing grenades is what makes these games Assassin's Creed games. Ubisoft is so good at making buggy things that even their own game on their own launcher glitched out so hard that my copy of Black Flag Gold Edition couldn't even register any of my DLC. That, my friend, is dedication to tradition. Take notes, people. Be better. I had to rebuy Freedom Cry on Steam just so I could actually play it for this review. Speaking of which, Freedom Cry is about an 8-mission standalone expansion to Black Flag where you play as the main man, Adewale. Adewale is a quirked up beefy boy.
Adewale was one of the coolest characters in Black Flag. I need to play Freedom's Cry.
That went from slave to pirate to now an assassin. But more important than all that, he gets some wacky new weapons. One of them is the blunderbuss, which is basically just a shotgun with the most incredible spread you've ever seen. And hell, hey, why not? To demonstrate this for you, let me just throw up a quick red rectangle that visualizes the spread of the blunderbuss. I'm not lying to you when I say that this gun is so beefy that even when you run out of ammo, you can still bludgeon a man with the empty wooden 20-pound bat this gun turns into. Also, now you have two ways.
I mean, yeah. A gun without ammo is basically just a club.
To stealth kill. Under normal conditions, you still have the hidden blade, and under running conditions, you have the visible machete. And finally, you have the firecrackers. But do I look like a guy that gives a shit about tactical stealth? No, I like stupid stuff. But now, the new involuntary labor system was pretty neat. Admittedly, I wasn't paying attention in Mortar Strike to ship of these involuntary laborers, killing 18 folks on board. But hey, we don't need to put that into the reports, do we? Additionally, there are plantations, which I think is one of the best implementations of stealth in an Assassin's Creed game, because it's not that you have to stay in no detection or it's mission failure. It's you can be detected, but if you do, the guards will start killing everyone so fast that you may not have anyone left to save by the end of your allotted kill quota. This makes stealth optimal and preferred, but depending on how much you need that new ammo pouch, you may just be able to walk in there and do a little bit of trolling.
I mean, I will always choose the go in and do a little bit of trolling option.
I forgot to talk about the story of the main game. Big spoilers for this hot new release are going to commence in 3, 2, 1. Alright.
If you don't want to be spoiled.
Good. Everyone fucking dies. Blackbeard dies, James Kidd Woman dies, your wife dies. You inspire this guy to be a pirate.
I prize the courage you have inspired in me this year.
And he gets hung and dies. Deadman is still just as dead as the last game. All these people here that I forgot the names of die. The goddamn dog. Nah, he's alright. He's a good boy. Aren't you bored? I'll be honest with you. I don't really know what's going on in this story. I just know that in the Animus, you're trying to get money and do the pirating as everyone around you.
Oh yeah, what is the Piece of Eden in this game? I completely forgot. That whole side plot just went right downhill after AC3.
Keeps dying, and outside the Animus, an Irishman is trying to implant his gacha anime waifu into your body to consume your consciousness.
Ah, damn it, not again. This is Vegas all over again.
Of course, the main motivation of everyone in the Animus being to find this magic crystal skull so that they can... You know what? Why don't I just let him explain it? Hey, roll the tape. Here we go.
Hi there, buddy. I obtained the skull so that I can hunt. I mean relocate every one of my old best buddies that I've been separated from by pesky antivirus programs. And look, I've found one of my bestest buddies right here.
What the fuck? Was that his idea of an ad read? I need to take notes. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment if you did, and subscribe if you want to see more videos. Check out my Twitch for weekly streams and my extra channel updates. Bye!